Welcome back, guys. Thanks for joining me for another beer review. We are looking at the penultimate beer that I got from Trembling Madness about 3 months ago. Placed a big order with them. Second to last beer now. And it's a brewery I think I've only ever had one, possibly two beers from. It's a Spanish brewery and it's from Basqueland. And this is a can of their Phantasm. And it's a double IPA. It's coming in at 8%, 440ml can, and this coming at £6.99. So some people will be going £7 for a beer. Double IPAs, you're looking £6 any day of the week, especially if they're, a craft double IPA. So an imported Spanish one, yeah, probably about the sort of going rate for it, but it still has to be good. Lovely artwork. There we go. Now, I don't have a Basqueland glass, so I'm going to put it in the White Hag one. Anyone who watches me regular will know that's my regular one. So let's get it cracked open and see what we get. Favourite style as well, Saturday night. This should just about knock me off my feet, and I'll be snoozing on the sofa, no doubt, later on. So it's not looking as thick or as dense as I was maybe expecting. That's not to say it's going to be bad. It's hazed up a little bit more. It's the whole can empty, so it's all in there. And there is a big lump of, I'm trying to turn the glass around, but all the bits keep following my glass where I turn it. I don't know if you're going to see, but yeah, you may see a couple of lumps on there, yeasty lumps. So, beer in a glass, good finger of thick white head. The beer looks, it's hazing more as it all sort of comes down to the bottom, but I'm going to say it's not that sort of thick, dense, sort of juice bomb sort of double IPA that you get with some of them. It's looking more, it's just looking that little bit lighter, but it looks very decent. Hazy, you could almost say pineapple juice looking. A good finger of white head, not seeing any bubbles go up. Let's go in on the nose and see what we get. Ooh, itch, excuse me. Got fleas, have I got fleas? I can't have fleas. Yeah, on the nose, again, this is, when you look at the beer, for me, when I was pouring it and that, it felt that little bit lighter in body, in sort of depth of haziness. And on the nose, it smells that little bit lighter than some double IPAs I've had. It's hoppy, it's sort of almost tropical sort of on the nose, if you like. Nothing really smells bad about it, but nothing really sort of punches you in the face, which really is what you'd expect from a £6.99 beer, isn't it? But smells alright. Tropical, hoppy, juicy. Let's dive in. Basqueland Phantasm double IPA, 8%. Cheers, everyone. Wow. I'm saying wow because that took me by surprise a bit, to be honest. Body's decent. Body, it's not as, it's probably exactly what I expected from the looks, from the look of it. It's got some weight to it, but it's not that thick, chewy sort of double IPA body. Certainly weighty, got a good body to it, smooth and soft, carbonation is minimal, gives it a really nice mouthfeel. And the wow bit, oddly enough, was for the taste. Again, I looked at it and I thought, yeah, this is going to be double IPA, but it's with the aroma not really sort of smacking you in the chops, the body looking a little bit light. I was expecting that on flavour to have that same sort of feel about it. As soon as I had a mouthful, it was like an explosion in the mouth. Plenty of flavour in there. Pardon me. Hoppy, mango, orange kind of citrus notes. There's a dankness about it. There's a dry almost musty hoppy feel to it. Now normally that sort of mustiness, dankness, I would say you pick up pine, or you get pine on the nose. Maybe I will afterwards or in a bit, but it wasn't something that hit me initially. And no, it's still not that sort of like piney resinous dankness. It's more of a hoppy, juicy dankness. There are differences, believe it or not, there are. I mean, I suppose the simple thing is there's no pine in there, so it doesn't feel like a piney dankness. It feels like a juicy dankness, if that makes any sense. I'd say a bit tropical, orange, mango sort of thing going on. Bit of pineapple, I'm going to say. I'll dig in there, see if there's a little bit of grapefruit. There's maybe a little bit of a note of peach as well going in there, a bit of a stone fruit there. It's very much as you see it. So when I'm pouring it in, you're thinking, oh, it's looking a little bit lighter. It's not looking as weighty, or it's not looking as dense in haziness. And it's full of flavour, but it's still, as your palate adjusts, it still doesn't have that big full-on sort of punch you in the nose juiciness that some double IPAs have, the ones that I really love, the ones that you're almost chewing on. This is a little bit more subtle, but without being boring. So it's a great double IPA. It's not as good as a lot I've had, but maybe that's my own personal taste. I like them chewy, I like them weighty. This isn't on par with some of them real big hitting ones, but the body's still there. It's still weighty. It doesn't punch you in the nose with juicy notes or feel like a smoothie to a certain extent, but there's still lots of flavour. It's a decent beer, but I suppose it's just a little bit of a different angle to what maybe I expected, and what most double IPAs are, really. Ooh, some big lumps of yeast crawling down in there. Maybe I should have held the can up. Maybe it would have changed if I tipped the can upside down. But I mean, there are lots of lumps going around in there. But yeah, I mean, 8% for me is nowhere. The bitterness, it's a dank sort of bitterness, so it's not over bitter, but there's that bitterness with the dankness that gives it a maybe even a bit more of a potent bitter feel than you might expect. But it's a very decent beer still. £6.99. Is it worth that? Pooh. I wouldn't say it's a £6.99 double IPA. It's a very decent double IPA. But I mean, if we're looking UK breweries, top end dippers coming in at £6 at £6.99, this has to be a proper full on top end Spanish dipper. And I'm certain I've had better Spanish dippers, if not from here, from Garage or something. I'd have to check on my thing. Still very decent. Slightly overpriced, maybe, but not massively. But still a very decent beer. If you like your double IPAs, you'll like that. You might be a little bit underwhelmed, but the basics of the beer are there. And I wouldn't say you feel disappointed as such. Maybe a little bit underwhelmed, but it's still a very decent drop. And I'd still recommend somebody picking it up. It's just on the lighter scale. So for me, Basqueland Phantasm double IPA gets the thumbs up from me. Not the best one I've had, but still a very decent beer, very enjoyable. I'm going to have no trouble drinking that. If you've had it before, let me know what you think. Feel free to comment. Thank you all for watching. Sorry for waffling on for so long. And I'll see you again soon on another beer review. Cheers.